Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. So this is just a quick update on the oil market. We've entered a bear market in oil, and so I'm going to discuss specifically WTI crude oil, the US contract for crude oil. We were down 20% from the last peak, which was at $65. We're down in and around $50 now, so you do the maths, 15 out of 65. We're talking about a 20%-ish correction from those recent peaks, denoting a technical bear market. I'm going to pull up the chart on the screen now. You can see that we're in a nice horizontal range in WTI crude, and 65 has been pretty nicely the top, 50 has been pretty nicely the bottom. We're right down at 50 again. This is our fourth test of this support area, and so the question of course is, do we hold the support or do we prepare to ride this trend lower? Well, bigger picture, I have my suspicions that this oil market could be headed lower. Basically with the idea that this was obviously a big downward crush in the oil price, and you would hope that after that we'd be forming a base from which to then undo all those losses. But it seems like we've only really been able to retrace two-thirds of that pullback. Oh, that's what I was trying to do. And you can see we basically pulled back 61.8 of this big decline, and it keeps sending the price lower. Then you look at the RSI down here. We were in something of an uptrend during this period, but we weren't able to make new highs, and obviously new highs are a requirement of an uptrend. We weren't able to do it in momentum, i.e. via RSI, and we weren't able to do it in price either. 65 has been the cap. Looking at the trend, it's going nowhere on MACD, but there's a possibility the trend accelerates to the downside. Now, shorter term, let's think about the fundamentals quickly. We might have an emergency OPEC meeting on 14th and 15th of February. If OPEC plus Russia and other non-OPEC nations, if they all decide to cut output, obviously that reduces supply and goes some way to override this demand shock that we're experiencing because of the coronavirus outbreak in China and the implications that has for demand on fuel and just energy in general from the rest of the economy, while there's these travel restrictions and a general reduction in trade taking place while the whole country's on lockdown. So OPEC is a big factor. That's not happening for a couple of weeks. So if OPEC do act, maybe we get this rebound in the oil price, but as I say, we're not quite there yet. We might get some noises before the meeting that they are going to act. That would be some fundamental support for why we rebound off this level. This is what I'm looking for technically to try and secure or give me some confirmation that this low is in place. You can see here that when we made this little low down to $52 a barrel, we came in below the 30 oversold level, tried to rebound out of the oversold zone again, which would typically be used by many as a trigger to buy, and you can see we tried that, we rolled over, and we rolled over at 30, and now this is our second attempt. So if we get this next attempt to push out of 30, we do succeed, and we get some sort of pullback in momentum and in price, that would be the time in my book. That would be a potential price setup here to buy in somewhere above $50 a barrel in the hopes that the bottom of this long-term trading range holds out. And then you'd be pushing for a move back up into 50 territory on the RSI, and the logical target in terms of round numbers is obviously $55 a barrel in WTI crude. Now, how far we can get towards 55 or beyond it will eventually depend on OPEC and what they do. One would suspect they don't want to see oil prices crashing, which they have been doing, so that would suggest that we do need to see some action from them. Whether it's enough for markets, only time will tell, but there looks like there's a good chance for bottom here, but the longer term outlook, as I was suggesting in this weekly chart, might just be beyond the control of OPEC, and then we might see this bigger price decline, maybe after a bounce first. Okay, so that's it.